In the summer of 1945, a strange new word entered the world's vocabulary: mushroom cloud. Images of this ominous cloud, rising from the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, became seared into humanity's collective memory. These mushroom clouds, a testament to the destructive power of the atomic bomb, marked the dawn of the atomic age. Both derive their energy from the atom's core, or nucleus, but they do so through different nuclear processes. The decision to use these weapons on Japan remains a subject of intense historical debate. Proponents argue that the bombings were necessary to end the war swiftly and save lives in the long run. Opponents contend that the bombings were morally unjustified and that Japan was already on the verge of surrender. Regardless of one's stance, the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as stark reminders of the devastating power of atomic weapons. On August 6, 1945, Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima, instantly killing an estimated 80,000 people. The blast obliterated the city center and ignited a massive firestorm. 3 days later, Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. The combined death toll, including those who succumbed to radiation sickness, is estimated to be between 129,000 and 226,000. The world watched in horror as images of the devastation emerged from Japan. The mushroom clouds and the haunting shadows of vaporized victims served as chilling reminders of the destructive power of the atom. The development of the atomic bomb was a watershed moment in human history, ushering in an era of unprecedented technological advancement and existential threat. Yet the story of nuclear weapons does not end there. In the years that followed, a new and even more powerful type of nuclear weapon would emerge: the hydrogen bomb. While atomic bombs derive their power from nuclear fission, hydrogen bombs harness the power of nuclear fusion. Fusion is the process of combining light atoms, such as isotopes of hydrogen, to form heavier atoms. The key breakthrough was the development of the Teller-Ulam design, a two-stage process that used an atomic bomb to create the extreme temperatures and pressures necessary to trigger a fusion reaction. The first hydrogen bomb test, codenamed Ivy Mike, was conducted by the United States on November 1, 1952, at Enewetak Atoll in the Marshall Islands. The Ivy Mike test sent shockwaves around the world. It demonstrated that humanity now possessed the ability to unleash destructive forces far beyond anything previously imagined. The nuclear arms race, already underway between the United States and the Soviet Union, escalated to new heights. Both superpowers poured vast resources into developing and stockpiling ever more powerful hydrogen bombs. The Soviet Union tested its first hydrogen bomb, codenamed RDS-6S or Joe-4, on August 12, 1953. The test, conducted at the Semipalatinsk test site in Kazakhstan, yielded an explosion estimated at 400 kilotons of TNT. The development of the hydrogen bomb marked a significant escalation in the nuclear arms race. The Cold War became a period of intense anxiety and uncertainty. The hydrogen bomb, a weapon of unprecedented destructive power, fundamentally changed the nature of warfare. Its development ushered in an era of mutually assured destruction, in which any large-scale nuclear exchange between superpowers would likely result in global catastrophe. The stakes of the Cold War had never been higher. Unlike conventional explosives, nuclear weapons harness the energy stored within the atom's nucleus. This energy is released through nuclear fission or fusion, processes that convert a small amount of mass into an enormous amount of energy. In a hydrogen bomb, the fusion reaction is triggered by an initial fission explosion. Once fusion begins, it releases even more energy than the initial fission explosion, resulting in a much larger and more devastating blast. The effects of a hydrogen bomb detonation are multifaceted and catastrophic. Beyond the immediate devastation, hydrogen bombs also produce massive amounts of radioactive fallout. This fallout can be carried by wind currents for hundreds or even thousands of miles, contaminating soil, water, and food supplies. Exposure to high levels of radiation can cause acute radiation sickness, leading to death within days or weeks. Long-term exposure to lower levels of radiation can increase the risk of cancer, birth defects, and other health problems. The concept of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, emerged as a central tenet of Cold War strategy. MAD posited that the possession of vast nuclear arsenals by both superpowers served as a deterrent to war. However, it also created a climate of constant fear and uncertainty. The specter of nuclear war shaped not only global politics but also popular culture. The Cold War saw a proliferation of books, films, and television shows that explored the horrors of nuclear war and its aftermath. From the chilling realism of On the Beach to the satirical absurdity of Dr. Strangelove, these works reflected the anxieties of a generation living under the threat of nuclear annihilation. The development of nuclear weapons also sparked intense ethical and philosophical debates. Some argued that these weapons were inherently immoral, representing a threat to the very existence of humanity. Others maintained that nuclear deterrence, for all its flaws, was the only viable means of preventing another world war. These debates continue to this day as the world grapples with the legacy of the nuclear age. The end of the Cold War did not erase the threat posed by nuclear weapons. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, a step towards disarmament. In response to these concerns, the international community has undertaken various efforts to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and to promote disarmament. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT, which entered into force in 1970, remains the cornerstone of the global non-proliferation regime. The NPT aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, to promote cooperation in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and to further the goal of achieving nuclear disarmament. While the NPT has been largely successful in preventing the widespread proliferation of nuclear weapons, it faces ongoing challenges. The emergence of new nuclear-armed states such as North Korea poses a serious threat to international security. The future of nuclear weapons. Despite these challenges, the international community continues to work towards the goal of a world free from nuclear weapons. Various arms control agreements between the United States and Russia, the world's two largest nuclear powers, have resulted in significant reductions in their nuclear arsenals. However, both countries still possess thousands of nuclear warheads, many of which are on high alert. The threat of nuclear terrorism remains a serious concern. The international community has taken steps to address this threat, but the risk remains real and requires constant vigilance. A world without nuclear weapons. The future of nuclear weapons remains uncertain. Some experts believe that the risks posed by these weapons, coupled with the changing nature of warfare, will eventually lead to their obsolescence. Others argue that nuclear weapons will continue to play a role in international relations, albeit a diminished one. Achieving a world without nuclear weapons will require sustained international cooperation, political will, and a shared commitment to peace and security. The horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as a constant reminder of the devastating consequences of unleashing the atom's power. The world must continue to work towards a future where these weapons are relegated to the history books. Conclusion. The difference between atomic bombs and nuclear bombs highlights the evolution of humanity's destructive capabilities. From the harnessing of fission to the mastery of fusion, our scientific progress has outpaced our moral compass. The pursuit of peace, disarmament, and a world free from the threat of nuclear war remains as urgent as ever.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. That's all for Nifty Narrations.